Hi everyone, it's Dr. Williamson. So here in this particular course area, I have provided for you 3 documents that I hope you find useful in your review and study process. All of these documents are related to domain 1 because that's the domain we're focused on at this time. As noted here at the top, it says Domain 1, Data Content Structure and Information Governance. That's what the American Health Information Management Association calls this particular domain. And the range of possible questions on your version of the RHIT exam will be between 19 and 25%. So on this worksheet, you have the 12 elements that are from AHIMA, and under each one you have additional information to provide the context of what each of those mean. So you can use this worksheet as noted here at the top to review and apply the key tasks related to this particular domain. You could potentially print this document out. You certainly could save it to your personal computer. And as you are going through your past course materials, you would be perhaps focusing in on some of these areas. And especially after you take a set of practice questions, whether that's the practice questions in the exam prep guide book, or after you finish this particular week and you have taken the graded assessment, you need to go back and figure out, I didn't do well on this particular domain, and I want to look at these particular tasks. So all of these items here are called tasks. So what does a HEMA mean by, for example, task number 3? Task number 3 from a HEMA is identify and maintain the designated record set. So what does that mean? And some interpretation of that is underneath. What is a designated record set? You have to understand what that is first before you can identify and talk about how it's maintained. List key components that must be included, and why is it important to maintain this set accurately. In addition to this document, you also have some answers. You have a separate document. I can show you that one. Is also provided to you in the class. You also have the answer document to help guide you. It has some examples in some cases to, again, help you review. It's not an exhaustive list. It's not something that you should be trying to memorize the answers, but it should be helping you to figure out perhaps where you might need to go into a deeper dive and what you're looking for in your past course materials to do that. So this document looks very similar. You'll have access to both of these at the same time, but it does have the word answer key at the top. Additionally, for your purposes, you have a set of flashcards. I put them in a PowerPoint slide deck presentation. Potentially, if you needed to, you could potentially print these out, and you could perhaps fold the top part so all you see is the question, and then you're testing yourself on perhaps on the answer. However you want to do this, these two pieces of documentation, these flashcards have the exact same pieces of information that's on this document. So this document, the worksheet, and the flashcards are exactly the same. They're just in a separate, different format. So these are, again, provided to support you as you are exploring the 12 elements or the 12 tasks, as AHIMA calls them, under the arena of data, content structure, and information governance. These tools should be used perhaps before you take the graded assessment for domain 1, but they certainly could be used after you take the graded assessment for domain 1. Because again, as I mentioned earlier, this particular domain is what we would call the more foundational elements. And sometimes students do have to go back and spend a little bit more time exploring this domain because in many cases, a lot of the deep um, information of it was addressed way back in the beginning of their academic career, and perhaps they don't recall it as well as they think they should. And it's really helpful if you do recall it very well, because again, it's a component of the exam, of the RHIT exam, and it's a component that potentially could be a 1/3 or 25% of the total exam questions. And that is because it's a foundational element. If you don't understand, the content of health data, if you don't understand the why behind confidentiality, the why behind integrity, the why behind standardization in healthcare records, which comes from a national stage, in this case, Joint Commission, etc., it's really hard to move forward and understand some of the other things that are required for an HIM professional. So I hope you find these documents helpful to you. There is some duplication again, but that is intentional. The worksheet and the flashcards are exactly the same. They're just being provided in two different formats because some of us like to learn things or look at things or review things differently. And these are not tools that were designed to teach this information. These are tools that these worksheets, the set of flashcards or the PowerPoint presentation were designed to help you review. If you get really great scores on your practice exam, if you get a really high score on your course assessment for domain 1, that's fabulous. Then maybe you don't need to perhaps look at these tools, but I would encourage you to download them so that you have access to these tools to help you after the course is over and as you continue to prepare to take the RHIT exam so that you are ultimately successful on the first go round.